Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're actually going to be playing some Runecraft. This deck is the one I took into the Grand Prix today. I thought why not try something a little different, so I thought we'd give this one a go. It looked fairly interesting, so why not? So this deck mainly focuses on spell boost, which pretty standard for Runecraft, especially in Unlimited. This one isn't a Daria variant, which I still think might be a bit better, but this one I had a lot of fun with. I actually enjoyed playing it, and while it didn't win me the most games, it was definitely a fun one to go. I ended up going two wins, 3 losses, which definitely not great, but I think that was mainly because I just wasn't used to it. I found that the first 3 games were the roughest, and my last 2 games actually did really well, and it was actually very easy. So I think the Unlimited ladder and system just is really awkward. Either the most memey thing can win, or the most weirdest out there decks have the chance. I don't know, it's just a weird kind of system at the moment where, you know, there's really strong decks like Forest and other rune decks, and then there's weird decks that just seem to work and get you what you need, which is cool. So it's not too bad for the Rotation Cup. It mixes things up and keeps things interesting, and that will probably mean I'll cover some more Unlimited decks this week, especially with the Rotation Cup being Unlimited, so hopefully we'll be able to see more of those, but we'll get right into it and take a look at the games. So the first matchup was against Sword. Of course, this guy has the Albert alt leader, one of the few leaders I haven't got, and by the way, few I mean basically everything except Moon. So Angelic Snipe, Wind Blast, not too bad, definitely awkward I would say, but Angelic Snipe does work well against Sword in the early game, being able to just ping off those couple of really early followers. Plus it gets me a nice spell boost on the Wind Blast. Luckily we did draw Giant Chimera too, which gives me an even bigger benefit. So Wind Blast now actually can kill the Sky Commander quite well, which is alright. I always find it's weird when Sword plays Sky Commander on 2. I think if that's your best turn 2 play, you're not doing very well. But we do see Val's probably one of the stronger sword cards. Or most certainly one of the stronger sword cards. If you guys haven't checked out the Grand Prix yet, I definitely recommend giving it a go. Don't be afraid. If you lose, you lose. If you win, you win. I mean, losing can feel really bad, but after myself failing 2 Grand Prix in a row already, you kind of just go in it for the rewards now at this point. I'm really only after the packs and gold. While I would love to get the emblem and the sleeve, I'm not that worried about it now. So we can easily kill this off. It does cost us the evolve, which I'm pretty okay with, considering I've got 3 in this deck. Isn't really an evolve heavy deck outside of Owl. Owl's really the only evolve target that really has any advantage outside of trading, so it's not really a concern to use an aggressive one against an aggro deck, especially when it's on a ward where it's going to guarantee the block.
Just try to break me.
So not too bad. Magic Missile actually works out pretty well, being on the go face, and getting that draw is actually really good, lowering both Fiery Embrace and Fate's Hand by 1. This will let us play pretty much everything and then some. The Giant Chimera, Dimensional Shift, Chimera, all getting pretty good boosts at the moment. And that 4-drop, not really a problem once you draw Glow. Being able to remove that 4/4 from the board, we're pretty well off, and even better, drawing more cards. Honestly, I couldn't have asked for some of the best lineup of draw in that turn. But with how much draw power is actually in this deck, it's not too surprising when you do draw it. So, Arthur, a card that I probably should have dealt with a little better. I don't deal with it exceptionally well, mainly because I try and force out the Owl over the Chimera. If I had have forced the Chimera out instead with the Evolve, I could have cleared both the Hedgehog and the Arthur itself, and only left up a few small things. But instead, I do end up leaving up the Arthur and just kind of trading the best I can with these 2. So it is a little awkward, but at the same time we end up with another Chimera. We've still got our Golem Assault to block the board, which will all drop to 1 thanks to the Earth Sigil on board, so really we weren't too concerned with them boosting that Arthur up with something like Fortress. So definitely not the biggest problem we've got. Bladed Hedgehog though coming down again. They're definitely doing well being able to flood their board up, but it's just a matter of can we do more than they can. We do have our Dimensional Shift, our Giant Chimera, and a few other good cards that should be coming up very quickly. Mysterious Knowledge was a big help. Being able to use the missile over having to waste and evolve on ridiculous things is great, especially now that I'm able to Chimera and hit the 2/6 at the same time. I do end up taking the advantage of just getting the one Golem though, mainly because I just want to block out any potential damage before I go into my Chimera turn, which Chimera is now absolutely stacked. So, Giant Chimera at 22, plus the 3 from its default, so 25 Giant Chimera. With a Luminous Mage, it's not too bad, but don't think it's going to be enough to save them, especially when they have to trade.
Turn the power of hope to light.
So this is going to cost them. So with only 6 health there, that's not going to be enough to survive. It's going to be 19 damage to face off the Giant Chimera for a really nice lethal. I really did start to get to the hang of this deck just a little bit more towards my last couple of matches in Grand Prix.
The real thing.
Sorry I went to accidentally start the same match again. It's only brief, hopefully that's alright. We got Haven though. Haven, it's an okay matchup for this rune deck, considering Haven tends to be a slower class, which means I don't have to play my game super aggressively. Although their healing could be a little bit of a problem, but something like Giant Chimera and D-Shift kind of beat that out pretty well, being able to do massive amounts of burst damage in single turns. And our hand is actually pretty good. Insight makes for a great turn 1. The Kaleidoscope Glow is great for removing this Sacred Plea, which I still think is the best thing to remove for Haven, other than probably Beast Call Aria when you're using Glow. It's been a long time since I've actually got to make the Glow play, so I was very happy to see that one. Of course, they do go for the Sacred Plea again. Still on its own. The Glow pretty much returns that again, meaning they're really getting no value out of this, while I'm getting both spell boosts and draw off my card. So they've pretty much wasted a couple of turns.
I obey the Lord's will.
The Temple Defender, not really going to stop me, but that Glow is finally going to actually get a chance to stick to the board. At least for now. So we've got our Magic Owl with the spell boost. That's actually pretty amazing. I do decide to go for the Magic Missile draw first, making sure to make my play in the right order.
You're done for.
It's very easy to mistakenly make draw plays in the wrong order. I'm sure it happens all the time. It's just, you know, natural part of being human. Misplays are, while sometimes avoidable, when you're playing a match, it's a lot harder to notice them. It's much easier to notice them when you're watching replays. Even then, you can still miss some misplays. They're not called misplays for a reason. So, Rooney, Decibud do decide to go for the long game Prophecy of Doom over the instant draw card, mainly because I don't have a D-Shift or a Giant Chimera in my hand, so I wanted something that my spell boost could really bite into and set up a good lethal for me, so...
How could there be a future like this?
Plus I wasn't too worried about Rooney getting killed off. We did have to lose a card though, or a couple of cards, which disappointed me a little bit. Mainly because I just really didn't have anything else I could do that would have been great. But at this point, at least we're in a good spot. We've got some really low cost cards that have some really high return value. I mean, the Fiery for 0, the Wind Blast for 2. All of those cards have such high values that we can really start taking advantage of them. So with the Fiery and the Wind Blast, we can actually clear 2 of these very, very easily. Doesn't really matter which order I go for this because we're going to be killing the biggest, of course. And why not go for a little bit of draw? And again, we're not too worried about our evolves. We already used one on our, which was great. So why not just use another one on a ward? I tend to find those are the most common 2 things I evolve anyway. Radiance Angel, healing. Not too bad for me. I don't mind seeing a Radiance Angel, especially when we have Chimera anyway. Although, being able to use Chimera, that's a whole different thing. So, Sorcerer Cache, however you want to go with it. Boost that Chimera down a bit. spell boost another owl. We have an evolve for that as well, which is awesome. And having the evolve down means I can actually hold on to my Chimera for another turn, and everything's going to be extremely low cost next turn.
The darkness.
And we have a 4/2 owl, which means Haven has a target to actually remove, and since we didn't see an Aegis drop down, we're not really worried. Even if we have enough Golem Assaults that the only thing that would be really dangerous to us would be board clears repeatedly. So this is the turn I really wanted to take advantage of, and luckily with the Chimera and a few other spells and just the right sequencing, I was able to take advantage of my Golem Assault and still have space left to play out everything I wanted. I really wanted to get those Golem Assault, Conjure Golem, sorry, down to 1 and be usable, while also being able to get my Prophecy of Doom off, so that was out early enough. Definitely took a little bit for me to figure out, but when I got there, I was really happy with that play. Of course, Dark Hind, not surprising at all,
You're done for.
but not really any issue. Chimera is an instant removal on it, and outside of that, we really don't have any concerns, especially when they're taking 7 damage to the face. So, we'll go for our Conjure Golems, may as well get those out. Also, I'd boost the Chimera down to 0, so that's now free. While at the same time, I can probably go for the Magic Missile pretty comfortably, and maybe even the Golem Assault, just to refill our hand up with some good spell boosts and buy us another turn to go for lethal. I mean, taking 7 at the end of every turn, plus Conjure Golems every turn after, it's a little hard to deal with everything.
Lost in wayward ones.
So they are going to go up to 15, so that does buy them 1 extra turn, as long as my Mysterian Knowledge doesn't give me Mysterian Missile. If I get that, and they don't heal up again next turn, then I'm pretty good. Of course, Insight is pretty good as well, being able to get that. And Giant Chimera should actually secure me this game pretty easily. Being able to play these Conjure Guardians out, while at the same time playing off any other card we want, should make us pretty happy. That Giant Chimera starts off with a base spell boost of 3, and plus 5 gives us 8. So even without the burst, as long as they didn't heal, we were going to be right. And even if they do heal, I don't think avoiding 15 damage is possible. So Giant Chimera does a wonderful job, even as a one-of, picking up the lethal, even though I reckon we would have had game anyway. So hope you guys enjoyed that one. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you do want to check this deck out and have some fun with it, give it a go. I recommend trying it in the ladder first. If you're finding success with it, give it a go in Grand Prix. I mean, anything can pretty much win there now, as a lot of people have proven. It's pretty easy. Of course, it's probably going to get harder the next couple days because people will start to figure out where the strongest decks lie. Even I've noticed myself, Forest is coming up really quickly as definitely the kind of key class for Unlimited right now. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Again, find the deck list in the description below, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.